Hello, everybody, and welcome to Hanging with Howie. As you can see, Howie is here. I am a terrible ventriloquist, so we just decided to do it like this. Howie's a little under the weather, but he's still our engineer tonight, and he still picked the topic. I'm just going to kind of try to run things. So we have with us Buddy from Chicago. We have John from Boston. We have Jay from Swingin' Temecula. We have Matt from Georgia.
Hello.
Our show, as always, is sponsored by DJ Event Planner. Have a look at them and our other sponsors down in the description of this video on YouTube. So, we have a topic tonight, and that topic is kind of the Instagram sort of philosophy that people seem to have today, where you want to show yourself in your best light. And sometimes it's not necessarily accurate. We're making ourselves look better than we are. I understand we do this for marketing purposes sometimes, but a lot of DJs do this. So a lot of DJs will not show you their fails. They will show you their successes only. And it reminds me of when I was working in the car business. There was a gentleman who was our general manager, and I used to talk to him a lot. He was a Vietnam vet, and the only stories he ever told from Vietnam were his hero stories, where he went to Bangkok and disappeared for a month. He told those stories, but he didn't tell the other stories. He told the hero stories. And I understand why he did it. I'm sure he saw some terrible things, but every story he told was a hero story, and I never heard any other stories. And I think we get that a lot from DJs sometimes. We see their great successes, but not their failures. How do you feel about this? Let's see, who do we want to go to? Let's go to Buddy on this. How do you feel about that?
Well, you know, like anything you look at, we all have good parts and bad parts. And if you concentrate on the bad parts to show how you fail, it could hurt you marketing wise because you could look like you're a bad DJ, but also you're showing the truth too. Yeah. That, hey, you know what? How do you overcome that failure? How did you make, lemonade out of lemons, basically? And that's the way you got to kind of look at it. You have to be kind of truthful to your customers and your clients and say, okay, this right here didn't go off the way I wanted to go off, but it still did really good. Was it my top one? No. Right. But, it's one of the things that I think a lot of people just want. They love the highlight reel of all the, best of, it's like the NFL, the best of all the touchdowns for the weekend. Red Zone does it, at the end of Red Zone with all the great plays of the night, not the stupid, dumb penalties and mistakes and fumbles and stuff like that. They'll show a fumble recovery and a touchdown. That was like this awesome thing. Guy ran, 98 yards or something. But they won't show like, hey, the guy just, dropped the ball by accident or got overthrown. It's the same kind of thing in DJ. I feel that a lot of times people show, the great stuff, but also show, hey, we're human. We make mistakes. It's not a bad thing to show those mistakes. And then again, show how you recover from those mistakes. Right.
And I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. I was thinking for myself personally, I have pictures of myself on stage with DJ Cool and Biz Marquee and Cupid, and I had nothing to do with those performances. But I'm on stage with them, and they're on social media. So it's almost like, hey, look at me. I'm up. But I did nothing. I did nothing. It's deceiving. And I also do believe it's one thing to show your clients your successes because that's marketing. But I feel like that in our particular element, for the most part, it's DJs showing off for other DJs. That's what it feels like to me.
Oh, yeah.
Am I hitting the mark on this one, Howie?
I'm thinking, yeah, man.
See, he woke up from his coma because he heard something he felt like that he really wanted to express on this show.
Yeah. Well, one other thing that Howie's honored, this is for Road Dog Howie and his Road Dog.
Road Dog.
We missed it last time, so for Road Dog and for Howie, here you go, and hope you feel better, brother.
Now,
absolutely,
to help with water. Speaking of Road Dogg, John, do you have anything to add to this?
I do. You are on an accurate theory that, the pictures that we take say, what will the other DJs think?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you want to at least have that standard. I find, the pictures that we take are for marketing, like you say. We put them on our web pages.
Yeah.
We want to show ourselves in the best. I encourage all the DJs to take pictures of your setup when you think it's ready.
Yeah.
Once it's set up and done, and then go look at the picture. Take it from different angles, different perspectives, because half the time I'll see something in the photo that you're kind of blind to in reality. You're like, oh no, I have to fix that. You can't show that.
Right.
So it's a good safety net. It's a good check and balance for yourself. Because eventually you just kind of go, snowblind to it. It just, you think it's all set up right, and then you see that wire that shouldn't be there, or something hanging off the table that looks ugly. Like, you get the better perspective of it when you see it in print. Like, is this ready for prime time? This photo,
right?
Does it make the cut? You get everything just so all the T's crossed and I's dotted, and then you get the good picture. So I encourage DJs to take pictures of your setups and then look at them.
You had to say snowblind after all the events we've done in upstate New York.
Does this look good? I can't tell. There's a wall of snow between me and the stage. I don't know.
You do bring up a very interesting point, though, John, because you said we want to look good for other DJs. Why? I don't understand that, and maybe it's just because I'm weird. But is there a reason besides your own ego that you want to impress other DJs who have nothing to do with your market or what you're doing? Jay,
that's true. I think it's just
John, go ahead.
And proud. Just you have a nice car. You wouldn't take pictures of it if you didn't take it to a car wash first. You want to show it in the best light.
Well, my car is dirty. My car has primer all over it, and I don't build the show. I've never entered a show to win a trophy, because if I win a trophy, I did something wrong. I built the car for me. That's different. My brother, he's the guy who builds for trophies, and he gets them because he's building to impress someone else. I don't do that. I build for myself. I will show you what I did. If you like it, great. If you don't, that's fine too. But my idea on that is a little different. Just to clarify. And I'm like that with my DJ stuff too. And I do get a lot of criticism on it because it's not what normal people do. You got to remember, I am not normal. I am disabled. So I have to build to suit what I'm doing, and I have to build what works for me. So if somebody else doesn't like what I do, or how I do it, or feels like it should be done a different way, I don't think they're very empathetic human beings, or they don't know my situation, one or the other. Just a side note on that. Mr. Brannon, what do you have on this?
You know what? Social media is bitch or brag. It's only two things. It's not three. Ooh. So you're either posting, this is a complaint when I do my job that gets in the way of me succeeding, or look, this is what my interpretation is of your future wedding vision. Look, everyone's dancing. I've purposely put up posts that show a great mix and maybe not a great response. And I've done it sparingly, mostly on YouTube, because I think you have to be transparent and say, just like I've said before, I've got brides that'll review my wedding and say, dance floor is full all night. And I'm like, I don't know what wedding you attended, because I was your DJ, you were the bride, I was there. And, out of 2.5 hours, maybe a good hour and a half was dancing, and the rest people are kind of milling around and doing whatever. I think you're a fool if you post stuff that puts you in a bad light, but I also think you're a fool if you post consistently like, look, 10,000 people with CO2 guns. Like,
right.
Anyone that's got a brain in their head that's following a DJ on social media, look at the last few posts, then look at the very beginning. Like, scroll all the way to the bottom, see what they posted when they started, and see if there's continuity. Mm-hmm. See if you can see there's a growth.
Growth, like, wow, yes, growth.
Look what they've done.
Cool.
They've gone from these little gigs with little gear to much bigger. Wow, they've really developed.
We started here, and now we're here.
Yeah, now we're here. But if it's this, and I won't name names, but there's about 6 DJs that come to mind that I could put every one of their 500 posts on a spinning wheel, throw a dart, and you'd never know which one I hit because they're identical, post after post after post after post. And that gets old.
Yeah. I have a question for you, Jay, specifically because you have a YouTube channel. You've been posting for a long time. You have some stuff from the company you work for. You have some stuff from just you as Brennan Entertainment.
Right.
Do you feel like, and I'm just curious because I know what I do and it's different than what anybody else, I think it's different than what most are doing. But when you post content on, let's say, your YouTube channel, a video,
yep.
Do you feel like you're making posts for future clients or other DJs? What do you think the ratio is of what you're making posts about?
Wow.
Vlogs from events are a combination, but primarily for future clients to at least see, because I'll even start it with like, hey, it's April 4th, 2023, and I'm here at the Brian S. Red Facility Hall.
Right.
And it's empty right now. We're just starting the day. This is set for 150. This is where I traditionally set up.
Mm-hmm.
If you have any questions, post them down here and I'll show you some dancing and ceremony later. That to me is showing for future clients / DJ.
Sure.
But the majority of my posts tend to be help posts, which are strictly for other DJs.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it shows empathy in that you could find my 289 DJ tips in under a minute. Well, they're not for me.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
They're for other DJs. So at least you could sit there and say, oh, wow, he's here trying to help out. I mean, real quick, I've said this before. I post whenever I travel. I make a point of saying, like, last week I'm in New York City. Last month I'm in New Jersey. I was in Vegas. I'm in Denver. That's a way of at least bolstering my value and saying other people and companies believe in me enough to send me around.
Right. Oh, I do the same thing.
I must be doing something right. Yeah.
Yeah, I do the same thing. Oh, I'm sorry. I can't talk to you next week. I'm in Atlantic City for a big DJ thing.
No, I think you need, and it goes to the DJ takeover, back in 2009.
Yeah.
It was all about giving DJs an opportunity to go back to their little towns or big towns. Doesn't matter if you're from New York City or if you're from, somewhere in Idaho in the backwoods someplace or wherever. It gave you an opportunity to sit down with a client and say, oh, that's really interesting. That reminds me of last week. I was DJing on the Las Vegas Strip. Wait, what?
Right.
Or I was in a conference last week and they were talking about, what do you mean a conference? Well, yeah, I do like continuing education, like nurses, doctors, lawyers, teachers, educators. They all have to continually upgrade their license and keep CEUs, continuing education units. That's really what DJ shows are for us. And I think it's important to show that in a 12-month span on your social media, you've done more than, look, this is a picture of my puppy. And look, I just found this duckling. Here's another sunset at McDonald's with my wife who can't stop eating fries and or whatever. But show the development. And, I don't have a business versus me page because I think it is the same thing. And I know I do too. That's probably ill-advised.
Right. It's probably the wrong thing to do, but
it probably is.
That's what I'm doing too. Yeah.
I like associating one with the other because I think if you buy into a person and a business, you're buying into the person behind the business.
The reason I think you and I get along so well, Jay, or a lot of us, we're all friends here. The reason we all get along is when we're together. Mm-hmm. I think we realize that we are exactly who you're seeing here right now.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Nobody here is pretending to be anybody but who they are.
Nope, same thing.
There are some out there who have a stage persona. And you know what? I'm not even ragging on a stage persona. People have it. It's a thing. People who are, maybe shy or a little more reserved, they put on the Superman costume and they go out there and they are Superman.
We know and no names, but you and I know the several of them.
There are.
And it's shocking when you meet them and you're like, whoa.
Well, I'll tell you something that...
What's with the wallflower app?
That might surprise you. I used to be that person too.
Yeah.
Because I think I was still trying to figure out who I was. And I could be this person on stage and I could be this person in private. But as I matured and grew as a person, I discovered that I am this. This is me. It's one of the same.
Yeah.
And I was probably... and it wasn't like I was in my 40s when I came to this conclusion. I was in my 20s. When I was very young, I had a stage persona. when I was probably in my mid-20s. I'm like, you know what? I'm the same guy here. It's the same thing.
Elton John doesn't have
the qualities there.
Right. Elton John, Beyonce, performers. They don't have a Beyonce post that's look at me, I'm cool on stage, and then another Beyonce post, I'm here chilling with my family. They just have a post because they're one person.
Right.
I think if you break it down, the majority of us are one person, where the DJ you're going to get, but also see that we're kind and compassionate and we're doing helpful things and we're trying to find ways to make life better for others, or we're going out and getting drunk one night, or we're going out and swimming, or whatever the case might be. I think you have to have, I think the more kinks in the armor, sometimes the more reality sets in that, oh, this isn't BS. And that's the multi-op single thing of the, man, I've been watching these guys post. They're amazing. And then they tell you that they'll fit the perfect DJ with you a month out, and you're still waiting. And that illusion starts to crack. Versus, I tell people all the time, from the first phone call to the last song of the night, you're only going to deal with me. And I think that's what social media can sometimes give you, is that individuality that's also kind of tightening up the realm.
So, Matt, I was curious to ask you this question. And I don't know you as well as I know some of the other folks in this room.
Okay.
Do you feel like that you are the same person on stage that you are off stage, or do you feel like that you put on a slightly different persona when you go on stage?
I feel like I'm honestly the same person either way. Obviously I might be a little more quote unquote rah-rah on stage, trying to get the crowd into it a bit more but if I'm having like a little nervous moment or something, I'm cracking a little joke, or just in general, I'm cracking a little joke. But,
sure.
But yeah, just it's me. And you hear this a lot too in pro wrestling too. A lot of the guys that'll talk about like the ones that are the more successful ones. It's like, it's you with the volume turned up.
Yeah.
It's you, but it's this amplified version of yourself. So
that's a really good analysis. I like that.
That is. I like that. Yeah.
I like that a lot. Howie, how did we do on this topic? Was it what you wanted to do? Did I help you find your vision?
That's where I wanted to go, because most DJs will put their best foot forward and put that out there, and they're not going to show I screwed up here or there. Sure. I can remember, my gosh, decades ago, where I'm like, wait a minute, what's going on here? I've got the controller here and there's nothing coming out, and I bring up the volume all the way, and then I realized, oh shit, I didn't plug in the the speakers. I put them in. Oh my God. Quick unplug them, and I run back, and I'm like, oh, what an a-hole I am.
Well, I think, there are those mistakes that we don't want people to see, like when we trip and fall on our face. I mean, I fall a lot. I don't usually post those videos because I literally do fall down sometimes. I learned how to fall, kind of like a stuntman. I'm kind of like a one-armed stuntman in that regard.
Right.
You don't need to show you're human once. You don't need to show you fall down 20 times. You fell once, you're human.
Right.
That's behind the curtain.
Right. There you go.
That shows Oz exists. I mean, I think like I said, I think there's too much continuity where it's okay, get a great I mean, I'm using my iPhone and I'm reading guys posting 20 seconds on Instagram, getting 20,000 likes. And I think, here, ready for this? I'll pull my dead mouse. DJs aren't playing a real set. I think the majority of people I look at on Instagram, the majority of them who have under 500 posts, but over 20 or 30,000 followers, have bought them. Maybe not all of them, but they've bought some of them. I know when I get a hit and it's like, I've put up 100 posts, none of them have over 20 likes, but I have 60,000 followers. That's not real. And that's the sad thing. It's like, I trusted, it's the old adage in the Olympics, you throw out the lowest and the highest score and you take the best of the rest. Well, if 5 DJs come to me with 1,000 followers, 20,000 followers, 100,000 followers, or 800, the 800 guy may have just started, and the 1,000 guy may have been around but didn't promote it hard. But the 100,000 might be fake. So who's really working the hardest? Maybe the 1,000 guy, maybe the 10,000 guy. You know,
it's a weird world we live in that regard. It is so bizarre.
But Jay, if you were to, pump that up, as we say, pump it up, and say, hey, this is me. I'm the guy. Buy my playlist.
Right.
You might make some money. I mean, there's a guy out there making tons of money selling a playlist.
Well,
Can you imagine that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, I know it exists, and it's funny to me, but
I think and like I was saying, I'm putting on the other hat now. It's a known commodity, and for anyone that's wondering, I'm involved in social media with a major electronics company, and we're constantly being asked to sponsor you. We want, I want free gear. I want this, and this. You've got to have those 6-figure, 7-figure numbers to move the needle.
Mm.
You come to me with 20,000 followers and you're a local DJ in Pittsburgh, who cares?
Yeah.
That's not going to sell a product.
When it comes to marketing,
you got to come in with like, I've got 10 million followers. Okay. So if you post a picture of this, it looks like you might average 30 or 40 or 50,000 likes. Mm-hmm. They're going to see that. I mean, that's a different animal.
I got into DJ equipment product placing early in the game where I didn't even know to ask anybody. They came to me. It was that long ago.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, just to keep it real simple for anybody who's wondering, how do I get free stuff? Yeah. The arrangement has to work for both parties involved. It can't be a one-way thing.
Yep.
It's got to work for whoever is providing the sponsorship, and it also has to work for you. Sometimes it's not worth their while.
Right.
Sometimes, oddly enough, it's not worth your while. So both parties have to benefit from this arrangement for it to be beneficial. So ask yourself before you approach anybody,
what's in it?
Is there something I can do for this person? It's almost like a wedding where you're meeting with a wedding client. Hey, what do I have to offer you?
Right.
That's going to be beneficial to you. It's almost the same arrangement. So maybe think of it like that.
I got a friend who I DJ'd with back in the 90s who reached out to me last night and said, hey, I want to know if your other electronics company does any sort of sponsorship or free gear or anything. Our venue has 4 DJ booths and it's all the same type gear that your company makes. And I said, I'm just going to be honest. That doesn't do anything for us. Everyone's using
You're the client.
So what? If I you already bought the gear. Like, it's not like you're sitting here with a purchase order going, we're going to buy $10 million worth of gear. It's either going to be A gear or B gear. That's different. But I did say, well, do you guys need speakers? Because we have a speaker division and I could maybe send a rep out and he could take a look around. And before you know it, we might be able to work a deal out where you get $100,000 worth of product, but we give you a deal to get it in there and we'll do pictures and we'll do videos. It's
got to be something in it.
Just what you said, there's got to be something in it on both sides. And sometimes it's not what you think it is.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not always, you might think you're that special and individual, but it might not be. And again, that's not a slam. It's just, it might not be that special and individual to what's going on.
I get a lot of, I still get things. I'm not getting big things right now, but I still get things from different companies. And some of the stuff that I've gotten, I've been sitting on, not because I don't want to do anything on it.
Right.
Quite frankly, I have been so busy, I don't have time. And if the money's not there, why would I stop what I'm doing or I'm earning to do this thing? I got to do that in my free time. So that's a whole nother show.
It's business because of social media. It's become business. We used to do this on forums back in 2004, 5, 6. where I would go on the Pro DJ forum. You could spend 3 hours comparing FPT, RCF, EV, JBL, this and that. And after a while, you'd start to realize, oh, wait, these DJs are just blowing smoke that they actually
a lot of them are,
RCFs,
Yeah.
25 subs. Yeah. Where are you? I'm in Schenectady, New York. Really? Yeah. There's a market in Schenectady now to have that in the arsenal?
But it's not unique to the DJ business.
No. It's been going on forever.
It has been going on forever. Go ahead, Howie. I'm sorry.
iPhone, Android. Yeah.
No, but Jay, to your point, you have bought an off-brand, so to speak, Chinese lights, which I have sitting right over there.
Right.
That I can send you programs.
Yeah, you did.
And I did. But since you switched to the newer ones, I have them. They sent them to me to, do what Brian said, what do you think? And they're off Chinese, brand, and I just couldn't do it, because
they just happens that way.
No, and that's the beauty of the market.
Otherwise, you're a shrill,
Right, exactly.
Well, they didn't hold up.
Right.
After 3 months, it's like, wait a minute, why is this thing in the middle of well, you don't have anywhere to go with it. I mean, I'm doing a lot of work right now with Color Key Lighting. Color Key Lighting has an American representative in Las Vegas you can call up and talk to. I've got American DJ lights. I have Elation lights. I have Chauvet lights. I'm a fan of being able to have the whole market space because not everyone makes the same thing. And that's I'd be happy to help you with that if they want to send you a couple of movers.
My philosophy or my shtick for anybody who wants to work with me has been this, especially if it's a company that I haven't worked with before or a product I don't mess with. If I like your product, I will do a video on it. If I don't like your product, I will do the common courtesy of not making a video on it. Sometimes you make enemies that way. What do you mean you don't like it? It's like, I just don't. I can't do a video on it. There's somebody out there specifically I'm thinking of that won't make eye contact with me now because I won't do that. Now, what was I going to do? Lie? No. It's my word. I can't say something's great that's not. So, but again, another show.
Exactly.
Another
it's not even another show. It's called integrity.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
100%,
integrity. 100%. It's coming. And probably, I don't know, maybe sometime after Easter. I know this is St. Patrick's Day, folks. You're watching. It's totally not St. Patrick's Day. It's like September, but you'll probably see this on St. Patrick's Day, 2024. And so look for that show around Easter time.
Remember one thing. The majority of us here will give at least, on average, 10 to 20% of our checks to charity. And if she's not dancing, I'm sure there's someone else there that we can give our money to. So just
what was your name again?
On that note,
Chandelier.
Thank you so much for joining us this week. We will see you next